Like, put the cherry on top. They played Austria today. Guess the score of that game: 32-25 to not medal for France.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Roast Features Podcast, episode 25, baby.
25 and feeling fine. Richard Sherman episode. Drew, how we feeling, baby?
I'm good because you know what? Another person born number 25. Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds.
Hey,
No, Barry.
big hitter, baby. I love it. I love it. Let's get it.
You could say that.
Ready
You could say
for
this juice. This is a pretty juiced up, wouldn't you say?
juiced up episode, and there were some fun pieces to this weekend. That I mean, everybody was full of turkey. Hopefully, everybody had a great Thanksgiving. But damn, were there some sports that we've got to cover, Drew? I'm excited.
Absolute diabolical, epic, just the most crazy college football weekend, rivalry weekend. What more could you absolutely ask for? And let's go off with the number one most crazy rivalry with Michigan rolling into Ohio State, beating them, beating them, beating them 13-10 in a shocking fashion.
What an insane game. And I think that anybody in there on social media prior to these games, hopefully you saw Dave Portnoy freaking out about everything, because I will tell you that I thought that he was crazy going into this game. Ohio State, being a 3-touchdown favorite, Ohio State being the team that's trying to keep charging their way into the playoff, and Ohio State being the same Ohio State they are by absolutely laying an egg to Michigan. But Drew, how do we feel after this game? It just made me feel kind of cringy going into the rest of rivalry weekend. Like, ooh, something good's about to happen.
Ryan Day, you are at home. You have the most expensive college football roster in all of college, and you still somehow lose to a team that doesn't have a quarterback, has a one-dimensional football game and running the ball, and you still lost. Those boosters in Ohio State, Columbus, Ohio, have to be infuriated.
Can't be happy. Can't.
And on top of that, a plus 1,000 underdog Michigan was, and you lost.
Just goes to show you anything can happen on any given day, man.
Yeah, I agree. And some of the biggest catalysts was obviously Will Howard. You know what? Actually, no. Pause on Will Howard. Would you say that Ohio State with Ryan Day and Chip Kelly probably ran the worst possible offense you could have possibly imagined with all the weapons they have?
It just didn't seem like they were really leaning on their big dogs, and they were really trying to get the ball to everybody. And again, it's the big game. You want to come up with some crazy plays. This is your Super Bowl for Michigan's sake. I get it. But again, Drew, to your point, you got to know how to use your giant, huge offense when you've got it, right? We've talked about it with other teams in different sports, even when you think about groups like the Yankees and the Mets, right? You got these huge, giant payroll offenses, and then fans are left shaking their fists at the sky saying, damn it, what's going on? If I'm an Ohio State fan, I'm feeling in the same damn boat.
Can I make another point? You have Judkins, excuse me, who came from Ole Miss, and then you also have Travion Henderson. Both of these guys are stud running backs. None of these guys have had a game under 100 yards. I get it's a split backfield, but I mean, you feel like you got to lean on one of these guys to get in rhythm. And then on top of that, you have Carnell Tate, you have Emeka Ibuka, and you have Jeremiah Smith. Pass the ball, throw the ball. What is this offense you have? Will Howard rolling out to the right every time, and you don't throw it to your dogs? 5-star wide receivers. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it was not the game that you wanted to be Will Howard, and it was not the game that you wanted to be Ohio State in general. But with Michigan's sake, I will tell you, they definitely came and they punched them in the mouth. It was something where they knew they had to come in strong and be able to, again, maybe it wasn't kicking that first field goal, and it was getting that kind of failed, like early 4th down attempt right when you're in the red zone. And then, Will Howard is going to Will Howard. He threw a pick. And again, set Michigan up for an early touchdown. And that's kind of the heartbeat of the right in the red zone. And that's kind of the heartbeat of how that game went, Drew.
And guess what next year is going to bring? Michigan got a 5-star, the number 1 overall recruit in the class, quarterback Bryce Underwood, committed to Michigan. And you have Tavion St. Clair, who committed to Ohio State. So, yeah, you had a freebie and you blew it. absolutely
And that
blew
was
it.
an exclamation point game with a lot of recruits, I guarantee you. Like obviously we already knew about the number one recruit going over to Michigan, but I guarantee you over the next couple of weeks with how just nuts the transfer portal has been, people that were saying Ohio State are going to be flipping and people that weren't saying Michigan might be flipping. So fun stuff.
I think that these boosters will be holding their wallets really tight to them and not and refuse to give any money to any players until Ryan Day's out of there.
Only time will tell.
I think he's going to be out. That's just my guess. That's just my guess. And then on top of that, the end of the game, you plant the flag in their field, and then you proceed to get pepper sprayed.
Yeah, the crazy fight at the end is just unreal. And again, it just shows you how much rivalry week means to a lot of these players. So again, kudos to the Michigan guys for being able to just absolutely show up and be able to again kind of throttle Ohio State's entire season if we're being real. So it's going to be a fun little playoff that we've got coming up, Drew.
And then also another point I want to make: Jack Sawyer, number 33 in Ohio State, defensive end. Uh, I would never want to. That guy seems like an absolute freak. I mean, he's huge, 6'5", 260. Yeah, dude's an animal. Just from what
Coming down the line,
I
there's
want
a
that
guy.
guy in my corner.
Hey, you don't want to see him on the other side of the line.
No, you don't. But that'll move us on to another rivalry game down south in the South Battle of South Carolina. South Carolina beats Clemson 17-14. Go Cox, baby. Yeah.
Hey, go Cox indeed. And I tell you, we've got a cock agenda to start pushing here because at the end of the day, South Carolina might be going to the playoff. And again, kudos to these Cocks because it could get a little bit dicey for some of these other teams. I'm telling you, Drew, there's some pictures where the Cocks are in it.
Do they really have a shot?
Absolutely have a shot. And again, this team 17th strength of schedule, okay? 17th hardest in the nation. That's it's nothing to really scoff at. They had wins against bowl eligible teams
Oh,
when it
you're
comes to
right.
Texas A&M, Mizzou, Oklahoma, Vandy, and Clemson now. Name another team that has something relatively close to a resume like that. And the best part about all of this is that they're 18th in defensive points per game allowed, and they're 12th in rushing yards in games allowed. And again, all of these stats are just screaming to me that they need to be in the playoff. They are a top 10 team across the board on the defensive side. They've got the biggest wins. Cox to the top.
Yeah, you and I were both huge on South Carolina this weekend, and it paid off. But initially to start the game, it was a little worrisome. Cade Klubnik had two rushing
He was
touchdowns
cooking.
to start off in the second and then also the third quarter. But if you watch that fourth quarter with South Carolina, Lenoris said, "Hold my protein shake. I am going to carry this team." And he absolutely
Absolutely.
did.
Absolutely did. And this was the battle of the running quarterbacks, to your point, Drew. Lenora Sellers had, again, a relatively shaky passing game. But again, you're playing against the Clemson defense, going 13 to 21 for 164 yards and interception. But when it comes to running the ball, he's almost bell cow worthy because we're talking 16 carries, 166 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the W. But let's not sleep on Cade Klubnik, too, because again, a little bit of a shaky passing game when you're now talking about that facing against the South Carolina defense. He went 24 of 36, 280 yards with a pick as well, but on the ground, 10 carries, 62 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the Battle of South Carolina. Drew, what do you got?
I just thought watching Lenore Sellers get flushed out of the pocket, avoid two tacklers that were on him, and then able to run out of the pocket and then just go straight up field and then just belay the boom. Boom. Yeah, he was just so remarkable. And that touchdown he had, just shugging off defenders, going to the left pylon, diving for it, got it. That pretty much sealed the game. And then the South Carolina defense, yeah, you relied on them big time.
Hey, and it got the job done, but listen, Cox to the top. What a rivalry week. That's just one of many games, Drew. I love it.
I know it was great, despite all the self-sabotage that right guard from South Carolina did. I had to get that jab in, Mr. Captain, getting terrible. I don't know, sportsmanlike conduct calls, but no, we love it. Hopefully, they sneak in somehow, some way. Make
Let's find it.
let the math, and we'll go from there, right?
Love when the math, Drew.
Jake, games you saw this week.
Well, obviously it's rivalry week. I'm wearing the sweater. Let's just rip it off the top, right? One of the shakiest and worst Arizona losses I've seen in a long time. It's just not fun at all. I will tell you, this is officially the retirement of my Noah Fafita Heisman ticket. It's just not gonna it's not gonna happen, guys. Obviously we've been in a split backfield between supporting Fafita from the first couple of weeks to really big on the Genti agenda. But when it comes to Arizona ASU, Cam Scattaboo is just running over our entire team. And regardless with this ASU win, they were going to make it to the top. But I will tell you, just the absolute sauce of them winning and then it ruins Colorado's season at the same time. That's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. I hate the fact that we had to be a casualty of war, but it's kind of nice.
It is, but I disagree.
It's gross.
But I will say Colorado called it at least 8 wins this season.
Yeah, Drew, you actually nailed that. So hey, way to go, my
One of
friend.
my very few things I got right this season.
Hey, and Matt is not
But
to be seen because the take of 4 wins was just a little bit too low for their win
yeah,
total this year. But hey, that's
but
the way the cookie
no,
crumbles.
Jake, I want to go back to Arizona and that. Not if anybody cares, but Jason Shear, insider for the Arizona Wildcats. Our coach is such a loser. Can we just say he's such a loser from his
Hey,
press conferences? I'm gonna
I,
read some, but go ahead.
I here let me hear the take before I give mine. Would love it.
This is just paraphrasing, but Brett Brennan believes Arizona is in a good spot with player retention for next season.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little tough right now, especially with the status of the Big 12 and how teams that were projected to be last in the Big 12 are now have a chance to win the whole damn thing. It's going to be an awesome conference to watch over the next couple of years, but I don't think that means Arizona is going to necessarily
Dude,
be super awesome to
we're gonna
watch.
lose everybody.
It's
Nobody wants to play for this program. I don't get it.
Hey, and listen, sometimes when it gets to the darkest moments, that's when you can look up and you can start seeing light, Drew. So again, we're wearing the sweater, we're still supporting, bear down forever. But to your point, a little bit of shaky,
I'm
a
not
little bit of
finished.
shakiness. Oh,
I'm
okay.
not
I'm sorry.
finished. I'm not finished.
Run.
On convincing players to return and believe in him, this was his response. I think it's a little bit of a leap of faith, but they have been around us, Brendan said. They have been around our coaches. They know our level of ability to teach and coach. Yeah, you're really taught with just absolute the best talent Arizona has had in its history. History. Best offensive line, supposedly. Top 5 pick wide receiver.
Yeah.
Good connection with the quarterback. Dude, it's over. It's over.
Hey,
I don't know what to say.
and it comes down to what we've been talking about for a long part of the season is that it comes down to more than buddy ball. And hopefully this year there's some recruits that stay, there's some players that stay on, and again we continue to bear down and grow up. Drew, come on, have some spirit, damn it. Let's grow. Let's
I
go.
have some spirit as far as people want bags want to pack as far as players go, but that's neither here nor there. But Jake, I will let you continue after interrupting you on Arizona.
Oh no, you're all good. That's all I really want to talk about with that game. I think that we spent about 2 minutes too long on that, but hey, let's run it. When it comes down to the rivalry week, there were so many blowouts that I'm just going to gloss over. But Florida beating FSU 31-11 just caps off Florida State having an absolute miserable time this entire year. Washington getting absolutely punched in the face by Oregon 42-14, which again, I think that most people wanted to see the Washington versus Washington State, Oregon versus Oregon State during rivalry week, but eh, tomato, tomato, and we'll be all right.
We'll take week 3 like we
Right.
did it this year.
Exactly. So UNR versus UNLV 7-31. UNLV coming out on top. Just that's another just gross game. My favorite of all of these gross games, though, was Louisville at Kentucky. Louisville winning 41-14, absolutely laying the hammer down. Sorry. But
After
yeah,
you talked me out of it, huh,
hey,
Buster?
hey, I know, but sometimes Louisville is just gonna Louisville, and oh man, I gotta save the best performance from that game for a little bit later. And if you know the pod, maybe you know what's coming. But the only other games when it comes to these blowouts, Drew, Kansas at Baylor, 17-45. Not a great one on my side. I did say to
Eh,
take Kansas prior to the game. Hand up on me.
It's
Jalen
okay.
Daniels, Drew. Do your thing.
I mean, in fairness, Devin Neal on that for the running back for Kansas is an absolute hoss, and he's been a bell cow many of times on the show. So, I mean,
Oh
I don't
yeah.
hate it, but that game, Big 12 time, Big 12.
Yeah, Big 12 big time. And then the final of the blowouts was Purdue at IU, a 66-0 loss. Um, oof. IU just did their best impression of Alabama there. That was crazy.
That was you know the meme where after you get your ass whooped the week before and then you go to play the video game and it's like 100-0. Indiana's just like just absolutely decimating Purdue.
That game was absolutely insane. They had 3 recovered fumbles, 5 different receivers caught passing touchdowns, and held Purdue to 67 total yards the entire game. So they almost scored as many points as Purdue had total yards during the game, which I think is insane.
Yeah, I mean, go IU has gets to play in the Big Ten championship against Oregon.
Hey, big time for them. And I think that
God.
you're going to see an insane spread put in front of you. But Drew, what do you think that number is going to be between Oregon and IU?
Um, well, Oregon did absolutely annihilate Washington. They're number one team. It's in Indianapolis. I don't know how well Oregon fans would travel. Oh, it is in Indianapolis for Indiana. Oh, that's big.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's pretty much a
saying.
home game. Give me Oregon by 13 and a half.
Yeah, I think that they're going to give us something that's at least a 2 possession game. Like, there's no way that, again, Indiana has definitely put up a fight, but we saw what, double digit spread did to them in some other games earlier in the season too. So I think that we're probably going to see it closer to like that 13 and a half, maybe even as high as like a 16 and a half. But let's see, let's ride. Would love to see the Hoosiers make a dent in Oregon, but seem to think that Oregon might just continue to quack themselves along.
Let's hope not. I want the Cinderella story in college football. That doesn't happen that often.
No doubt. That would be absolutely unreal. And I think that Oregon obviously would still probably make the playoff at that point, but that would, that would just be a sick ending to the season. And talk about sick endings to the season, Drew. Miami at Syracuse. What the hell happened?
The
Miami was
Miami defense happened. That's what happened.
Yeah, Miami just continues to Miami sometimes. And, you're up 21-0 with 13 minutes left in the second quarter. By halftime, it's 21-14. End of game, it's 38-42. Kyle McCord had the absolute game of his life. 26 of 36 for 380 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. That now makes his 4th straight games with no picks. And I don't think that we got Kyle McCord wrong because of Ryan Day, but I do think that this confirms that Ryan Day is just an absolute buffoon.
Yep. I wanted to make that. That's the point I wanted to make. Chip Kelly. Well, I guess Chip Kelly is his first year, but yeah, Ryan Day, quarterback ruiner, absolute
That's
ruiner of quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I mean, let the orange squeeze the juice out of Miami because I don't know if Miami's doing anything fun this next couple of weeks because it seems like they're out of the playoff, they're out of the ACC. Just everything that you thought that you had, even with Cam Ward doing Heisman stuff, has just all your stonks are absolutely stonking down, stonking down.
I'm so sad. I wanted it to be this year for Miami, but just
But unfortunately, that's not how it is, Drew.
thanks, Jake. Wait, I'm glad Miami forgot about the other side of the ball to recruit for.
Hey, one of those years. But guess what? There's a lot of positive momentum that I think that Miami is going to get, not only after whatever bowl game that they make it to, but in their offseason. I think they did a great job this year, and hopefully they do build up that defensive side of the ball. See what's up.
They'll probably be in like the Gator Bowl or like the Camping World Bowl or whatever capital. I don't know.
I can't wait to talk about every different kind of bowl a little bit later, Drew.
I know, a little foreshadowing, but that'll wrap up the college football segment, and that'll bring us to Bell Cow. Bell Cow of the week. If you're new here, what is a bell cow? A bell cow is someone who has 20 carries, 100 yards, and 1 touchdown. Macho Man Bell Cow Savage here for another Bell Cow. Yeah, let me tell you something. Brother, yeah, down in the heart of college football, yeah, there's a name that's rising, like a rocket shooting through the stratosphere. Oh, yeah, here we go. Let me tell you something. Running back at Old Dominion University, Big Ed, yeah. It's got to move smoother than a buttered up elbow drop in a power that makes something stronger. Fuck, I gotta screw that up. This kid's got moves smoother than a buttered up elbow drop in a power that make the strongest tag team step back. Yeah! 23 carries. 23 times he took the rock and said, oh, yeah, brother. And what did he do with those carries? 119 yards. That's right, he carved up that defense like a hot knife through a Slim Jim. Yeah, snap into it. Yeah! It wasn't just about the yards. No. It was about those moments that define greatness here. That, ooh, touchdown. Ooh, yeah, brother. Ooh, touchdown, brother. Yeah. Macho Man soaring from the top. Look at those touchdowns. Yeah. Aaron Young hit that answer with the fear of 1,000 suns. Yeah. He's got the grit. He's got the grind. Now he's got the glory. You're with Mr. Poetry and Motion, brother. Yeah. Future's right for the old. Oh, yeah.
Bell Cow Savage doing it better than anybody does. And with my Bell Cows, too, because we got to show love to Ashton Genty, who the award is named after, our future Heisman winner with 37 carries, 226 yards, and a touchdown. And guess what? We're going to acknowledge the fumble because after 320 carries, you're allowed to fumble at least once. But this guy deserves the Heisman. BSU into the playoffs. Colorado, not. Learn it, live it, love the name. But this week's Bell Cow is Isaac Brown from Louisville, the freshman, 5'9" from Homestead, Florida, had a 26 carry, 178-yard, 2-touchdown game with a 67-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter to put the L's up against K-Town because at the end of the day, Louisville came out on top. Isaac Brown, you're my Bell Cow.
That's what I'm talking about. Louisville University, yeah, Isaac Brown, what a Bell Cow. Yeah!
Let's go.
Now that's a Bell Cow over here. And that'll move us on to our new segment. Did I say? We had fun with Turkey of the Week, so we got to transition to the season. It's December 2nd. Lump of coal of the week. Who got a big old steaming pile of coal in their stocking? Who does Santa hate? Who's been an absolute just jerk off? I'll tell you who's been a jerk off. Ryan Day. Loser. You're a loser. You should have got pepper sprayed. If anything, this guy is such a loser. This guy can't beat your arch nemesis at the most perfect time to beat him. And another thing we mentioned up earlier, quarterback killer. This guy ruined Will Howard. He ruined Kyle McCord. He struck gold with CJ Stroud. This guy's not Urban Meyer. This guy was never Urban Meyer. He can never take the torch. Guy always crumbles in the playoffs. Can't bring it to them. Ryan Day, you get a lump of coal for Christmas.
A lump of coal indeed after that performance, Drew. And I will tell you who has been a lump of coal. It's going to be Oklahoma State because this, you had your Super Bowl right in front of you by handing Colorado a loss. And granted, even with the Colorado win, they're still out of the playoff picture. But we got to talk about them being a lump of coal really for this entire season because after starting 3-0 on the year for Oklahoma State, Drew, they went 0-9 in conference to end out the year, and 0-9. They only played 9 games the rest of the year. So in the 3-0 stretch, they were averaging 42 offensive points per game and allowing only 20 defensive points per game. But in the 0-9 stretch, it was almost exactly flipped. They were averaging 22 offensive points per game and giving up 40 defensive points a game. So that is an absolute lump of coal to end the season. Oklahoma State, get a little bit better. Santa, you know who to deliver it to.
Santa knows when you're sleeping in Oklahoma State, and you were sleeping the whole rest of the season after those 3 wins.
Absolutely.
Yeah, also Ollie Gordon was supposed to be like the guy this year for running backs, and that didn't happen. Maybe you shouldn't get behind the wheel and have your coach defend you about your decisions on the road behind a vehicle. Anyways, that'll wrap up Lump of Coal. Christmas is around the corner, 'tis the season. Or if you celebrate Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
That's right. All right. And that moves us to pro football, NFL time. Let's start off with the Thanksgiving games. The Chicago Bears roll into Detroit and lose 23-20 in what Bears fans could probably still call a win.
Bears fans can probably call it a win in the sense that it got kind of fun at the end, but man, the Lions just continue to Lions and the Bears continue to Bears. I think that everybody wanted probably a larger spread win by the Lions there, but again, I think both teams walk out happy. Drew Eberflus, you got to start playing taps because he has unfortunately left the building.
Yep. No, this was an interesting game because the Lions go up 16-0 and like, yep, it's about to be a blowout. But for whatever reason, they just couldn't they just kept messing around. They just kept just have like Jared Goff, I mean, just couldn't get the ball down the field. The run game kind of stalled. Jahmyr Gibbs had a fumble. And then that just let Chicago just keep in the game. And they just I don't know what Detroit was trying to do, but they somehow won, thankfully. But that was a game you probably should have won more convincingly by, like you
For sure.
mentioned.
But I do think that at least when it comes down to Chicago, like their defense has been solid. Like it hasn't necessarily been like the best in the NFL, but it's kept them in games. And I mean, obviously, this was a tale of two halves games where, unfortunately, Chicago just didn't get enough to get it over the line. But I mean, if we're going to be talking about this game, we got to be talking about two things. One, if you'll just do me a favor and throw up my prize picks lineup that I hit here, bing, that'll be delicious. But then the other one is when it comes down to this Eberflus and Caleb Williams decision at the end of the game. I feel like that has to go down to some of the worst clock management that I've ever seen. And it comes down to the fact that whether you're the head coach and you're giving the reins to the quarterback to be able to make that decision, because Caleb in another interview after the game acknowledged that he was trying to check down into a different play. But I think what it comes down to is somebody's got to have the rock and somebody's got to make the decision. And it just seemed like nobody knew what to do in that football scenario. And at that point, that's more of a football education question. And that is a scary question to have when you're at the highest level of football. So I feel like that's ultimately why the decision had to be made. And I mean, again, for Bears fans, I think that you walk out of this game incredibly happy with probably your favorite loss that you've seen in the last 5 years, frankly.
Yeah, and I mean I'll mention it. I mean, it's been mentioned everywhere, but fuck, what was I gonna mention? Shit, all right, well I'll cut that out. Yeah, no, I mean, and Matt Eberflus even doubled down on his take. Like, I stand by the decisions I made to not take a timeout. We had exactly our game plan, what we want. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? You had like a minute when you had like two timeouts left, and you didn't use them at all. Like, what?
Yeah, terrible, 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 terrible. But you know who's not terrible, Drew? Sam Laporta. And even though it seemed like a little bit of a quiet game when it comes to 3 receptions, 6 yards, and 2 touchdowns, I'm going to say it now. He gives me big Jason Witten vibes. And it's not just because I'm a Cowboys fan.
No, it
He
is
just,
because you're a Cowboys fan.
no, he's a solid blocker and he's someone that can be able to get out. And he just seems always available on these quick out routes. And I think that obviously that offense has gotten a little quiet from him when it comes to this season. But,
Hmm.
staying a little bit relevant. But you can fight me if you think I'm wrong, Drew.
Um, I'd say he's a little bit more athletic than Jason Witten. I feel like Jason Witten was very like a stocky route runner as far
Yeah,
I don't
I mean, he's a little bit more dynamic when it comes to that for sure. But again, we're talking about Jason Witten at 30 something is when we're all thinking about Jason Witten versus Sam Laporta at 23, 24, right?
no, I'm thinking about Jason Witten with freaking Romo in his prime.
Oh, come on now. Okay. Anyways,
What?
all right. All right. Maybe I'm a little bit wrong on that. But I think that when it comes to Sam Laporta, I think that he's got that blocking ability. He's got
No,
that good
yeah.
receiving ability. That's a hill I'll die on.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll allow it for that. But yeah, Lions win. Lions first time 11-1 in franchise history. There's nobody more that I'm happy for in football than the Lions to accomplish that.
Way to get it done.
And that'll bring us to our next game where you go out to dinner or took a nap during the next game. Giants lose to the Cowboys 27-20. And you're probably sitting here viewing the only person who watched that game.
Oh,
And
of course. And
Jake.
our patron saint, the Thanksgiving Day Turkey Day parade is right there. Look at that. Oh my God, it's amazing. But no, awesome win for the Cowboys. I think that it's something where we're not looking too far into it. But it definitely does make me feel great seeing that the Cowboys have a lot of the players back that had been on injury. Again, Brandon Cooks coming back. Deron Bland and now his second week back. Rico Dowdle finally making an impact when it comes to the only Cowboys player this season with 100 yards rushing and a touchdown. He had 22 carries, 112 yards and a touchdown. Almost bell cow worthy, but I figured that you wouldn't allow it. So I was like, I'll kick it over to the side. But Drew, Cowboys might be back. I don't know. It could be fun.
Do you guys really want to make a push the
No,
playoffs?
no. I mostly just wanted to say that just to say that. But I personally, I don't think that we should be making a push, but I do like to see all of our players coming back. And if we can get into momentum and we somehow find a way to get in, I would be shocked. But if it happens, it happens. And let's go, let's go win some football games.
Yeah, no, I mean Rico Dowdle went off. Cooper Rush is doing what Cooper Rush needs to do, and the Giants have one more game against the Eagles, and if they lose, that'll be a full sweep by all three of us.
That's tough. That is a tough year.
Could it be
Arguably the worst year.
Could it be gonna happen to a more deserving franchise?
How you doing? Bad.
That leads us next to the night game for Thanksgiving. The Green Bay Packers beat the Miami Dolphins 30-17 in a cold weather game, and Tua did not beat the narrative.
He did not. He is now 0-7 when it comes to his NFL career in games that are under 50 degrees. The Packers, again, that young offense, I don't know, or that young team overall. I don't know if that's the whole thing that we've got to start looking into, but similar to the Rams, when you've got a younger base and it's guys that can just fill in and they're football guys and they want to make every damn play, especially when it's in the snow, the Packers, they're going to be a dangerous team, especially if they get some home playoff games. That's going to be some scary stuff for teams to go into.
No, I would agree. I mean, Jordan Love had kind of the get back game, so that was good for him. I mean, not like he didn't play. He didn't play the best against San Francisco. He had 2 touchdowns, but I felt like he had a higher completion percentage and more yards to go with that. Yeah, he tore up that Miami defense. Miami just couldn't really get it going. I mean, A-Chain tried to do as much as he could. They couldn't run the ball. Their average, including with Tua's rushes, were 2.8 yards a carry. I feel like they need to get like a beefier running back, similar to what Detroit has to kind of help them out. Because you can only pass so much, which Tua did. And Jonnu Smith and Tyreek Hill helped, but I feel like that could elevate those numbers even more if they had a decent run game.
For sure. I think that this game just comes down to weather and mindset, right? Like the Packers were ready for the game. They're ready for Thanksgiving football. And Miami might have been ready for Thanksgiving football, but they were not ready for Lambeau Field. They were not ready for Wisconsin. So that's just it's the way that the cheese shreds, not the cookie crumbling.
Yep. The cheese suck up the ocean, and the Dolphins did not win. And that'll bring us next to the Black Friday, where the Kansas City Chiefs somehow beat the Las Vegas Raiders 19-17, and they can't keep getting away with it. They can't keep getting.
Oh, it's so good. I love it. I Drew, I mean,
What did I say last week? How did I say?
I said the
What are
same
they
thing
gonna
last
do?
week too.
Barely beat the Raiders by 1. They won by 2.
W.
I got a W.
Right. Well, no, I mean, listen, I think that again, nobody's super thrilled from this game, whether you're a Chiefs fan or a Raiders fan, besides the fact that you won the game. Like the fact that it got shaky, the fact that your defense is allowing points like that, the fact that it really came down to one possession and a mental error that you didn't walk away from that game because the Chiefs didn't
one
do
touchdown.
well. I understand that. That's what I'm saying is that it comes down to mental preparation because it literally came down to one play. Aiden O'Connell did everything and more that he needed to do. And again, whether it's on him for being able to call the ball, whether it's on the center for snapping it. I saw another clip where if it was I forget whether it was the left or right guard, but one of the guards in the slow-mo right before when the center actually snaps it and it goes right into O'Connell's chest is he taps him on the thigh. And I guess that's a signal to be like, all right, we're ready to go. So maybe it was some sort of miscommunication error.
Yeah.
I don't know. It comes down to coaching, and Andy Reid is going to win that football game when you give him every opportunity to win the football game versus any other coach that you really put in front of him, right? And we talked about this before when we did our coaches segment. That's a guy that you want to be coached by because you know when it gets sloppy and there's 12 seconds on the clock, the opposing person, they are going into victory formation. They're doing everything and more that you've got your back against the wall. Sometimes you just get lucky and sometimes you find a way to get it done. I don't know.
And I mean, it also didn't help that Daniel Carlson went 0 for 3 from plus 50. I mean, not saying 50s are gimmies, but that could have been such a huge advantage for the Raiders to beat the Chiefs and knock down the pinnacle of what NFL football is, and the Chiefs and the darlings, and then it's
Yep.
damn it. What were they favored by?
I want to say it was at least like 9 points or something, right?
2 touchdowns, pretty much.
Yeah.
They took the
Sorry, Drew.
Raiders. And that'll bring us to today, where the Jacksonville Jaguars lose to the Houston Texans 23-20 in a game where a lot closer than I thought, and Trevor Lawrence got concussed.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence got absolutely beat on in that game. Best of luck to him. I know that we've kind of bagged on him a couple different times, but bless up, of course. Texans, you just ruined your spread because of Mac Jones, brother. I think that you're happy with the win. And when we're talking about not hitting your spread, it's a whole half a point here. So let's not look like two into it. But at the end of the day, this is a land the plane game for Texans. You had to win the game. You could not give this one up to Jacksonville. But the fact that Mac Jones is carving you up, Drew, do we like the Texans? Because I'm starting to really not like this team, man.
I don't know. I just think CJ Stroud is used not up to full potential this season as far as running this offense. I think Joe Mixon has been a huge help for him carrying that offense. And then he gets Nico Collins back, but I don't know. This guy hasn't had many games with like 2 touchdowns. Nah, that's not true. He's had a few, but um,
And obviously they're hurt, right? And they've been hurt all throughout the year. So let's not look
I
like
guess it's
too
just the O
crazy into it.
line.
But their O line is just shredded, right? And I think that when it comes to that team, I'm starting to think that they've got to be more of that defensive unit style team to be able to win games. And
Which they have.
which to their point they have, but like with the offense that you were supposed to have at the beginning of the season, and everyone said Lambo Ferrari offense, and let's get you into that top 5, top 10 situation. I don't really think that I'd say that they're there unless they're fully healthy. And again, Joe Mixon has really been the only catalyst of that whole offense, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at their past games that they've won by. Let's see. They won by 3. They lost to Tennessee last week. They beat up on Dallas. They lost to Detroit by 3. They lost to the New York Jets by 7. They beat the Colts by 3. All these games have been just by 1 score or less, and it's just not what you thought this team was going to be. You feel like they'd be blowing teams out, but it just has not been the case.
I think I'm off the bandwagon. I'm still on the Joe Mixon hype train. He's definitely a part of almost every touchdown scorer parlay that I do. So Joe, keep doing your thing.
I had Joe too, and then the Colts had to fucking ruin that for me.
Hey, tough man.
We'll get to that later. The Seattle Seahawks fly in to the New York Jets airport, MetLife Stadium. Sorry, I thought it'd be funny. They beat them 26-21. Aaron Rodgers had the ball at the end. Too much time for Aaron Rodgers? Nope. Just the right amount of time. Seahawks win. Jets crushed.
And the Jets are just continuing to jet, man. The Seahawks are making a push. NFC West is a shaky division. They might walk out on top, dog.
I know this was a huge win, and I think the other team, yeah, they did lose, which we'll get to later. Yeah, Seahawks is. I feel like San Francisco's down, the Rams, depending were they. Oh, okay, well, yeah. But yeah, Seahawks take the reins, like you just said.
It's going to be one of those games where, again, I think that the Jets fans are just kicked when they're down. This was a game that you were really supposed to probably take and get some momentum out of and really stay involved in the conversation. And now it's really what more can we blow up to be able to set us up for a better position for next year? Because you don't want to win games now. You just want to get the highest draft pick you can.
No, I agree. And a positive, Geno Smith didn't throw a red zone interception, so that was huge. I know a lot of
Hooray.
other people in media have been saying that a lot. But no, Aaron Rodgers, which threw a pick 6 and after being up 14-0 and just let Seattle come back in. You think they were going to win, but no. Seattle comes back and kicks 2 field goals, and Zach Charbonnet puts the cherry on top and seals the game.
Hasta la pasta.
Hustle pasta, New York, how you doing? Not so
Two
good, huh?
bad losses for New York this weekend.
Yeah, yeah. New York football, really bad. Stinky as your city. Whoops. Anyways, that'll bring us to the next game in the Northeast. The New England Patriots lose by 1 point, 25-24 to the Indianapolis Colts. And the Colts are cowards, and they should have kicked the extra point. Instead of going for two, go to overtime and win like a man by more than 3 points. So the cover, cowards.
Hey, listen, that was a fun game, and I did not get to watch a ton of it, but I did watch a lot of the recap of it. I was big on the Patriots going in, man. I thought this was going to be an easy game where they were going to be able to have home field advantage and just kind of throttle and do their thing. Colts have looked shaky. There's this whole quarterback controversy that we keep just absolutely throwing up in the air. But
Yeah.
again, land the damn plane. Good job to the Colts for getting the job done and going on the road. And again, I don't know what their record looks like when it comes to that AFC South division, but I mean, winning those games doesn't hurt.
No, it doesn't. I mean, the Texans falter later in the season. I mean, Colts could make a sneaky push. They could also they could totally do that as well with the games they have with Denver. That'll be not so good game for them. Tennessee, New York Giants, Jacksonville. So there's a picture where a possibility, but Anthony Richardson had the most Anthony Richardson game you could possibly hope for. 50% completion rate, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 1 touchdown on the ground.
AR doing his thing.
Yeah, that's right. And then not Mac Jones, but Drake May, not so bad of a game, 80% completion. I mean, this Patriots team, I think this is a good like building for them for next year. So
Dude, they're a couple pieces away. And I mean, I've seen some mock drafts where if they end up getting one of that top level picks, like if they end up getting one of these top receivers that we keep talking about, I pray that it's not Tederayo McMillan, but again, whomever it ends up being, but any kind of big offensive weapon for that Patriots team is going to be a huge help. So again, let's see how that team continues to build.
and you don't have Bill Belichick picking another white receiver out of some MAC conference college.
Right.
Not that the MAC's bad, but yeah, you might get an elite player and not like N'Keal Harry, the likes of
Hey,
those kind of guys, right?
hey, we will see.
And that'll move us on to the Midwest where the Arizona Cardinals fly to the Minnesota to only lose 23-22. Sam Darnold led them over and is maintaining pace with the Lions to keep up in that race for the NFC North. So big win for the Vikings.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just like a nice little repeat button right now. But again, Vikings could not drop this game. Like this was where you needed to be able to show up, prove that Cardinals had a lot of momentum going into this game. They've got a solid offense. They've got a pretty decent defense. Like they kind of remind me of one of those three-headed monsters a little bit because they do have a decent special teams game too. But Vikings come out.
It really depends on what Kyler Murray you get. You're going to get Kyler Murray, who's going to light it up, or you're going to get the guy who throws 2 picks and doesn't really win you games.
Yeah, sometimes I think it depends on the defense, and sometimes if you have the defensive ends and you have the linebackers that can really stay patient, they can be able to play that QB spy and just kind of
Contain
deep
them.
contain him. And if you can get it on both sides of the ball, which again, I didn't watch this game too in depth, but I just know how Minnesota plays. Like I bet you that they're swarming up Kyler Murray on both sides of the ball, and he wasn't able to be able to run, do everything and more that he's typically able to do. So again, close game, but Minnesota land the plane, get it done, stay in
Yeah,
the conversation.
huge win. And that'll bring us next to another rivalry in the AFC North. The Steelers beat the Cincinnati Bengals 43-38. Russell Wilson revival continues.
Yeah, man, what an insane game. I saw something where this was the highest scoring game of their rivalry. And that's just the fact that Russell Wilson is leading you to that is nuts. I also saw something where it was his second highest passing yards in his career in a game, which is maybe we got to start Trussy and Russying again. I don't know if that's the best thing that we should do, but man, what is going on with Cincinnati, dog? They're going to end up having a team that might look like they get a top 10 pick. That's unreal.
Maybe they might use it on defense.
Shocking. Maybe they need that. No, they definitely need that. And again, shout out to Jamar for getting a touchdown and helping out my touchdown scorer player scorer parlay, which Drew will have you drop here. Shit here. But at the end of the day, money made on Bengals and Jamar Chase, and not really, but oh, it's a game where everybody should have just slept.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a good Bengals. It's such a fun Bengals team, and I don't know. I don't know if they can reach that high again, like in 2021 against the Rams. So we'll see.
High peaks, low valleys.
And that'll bring us to the last early game where the Los Angeles Chargers beat the Falcons 17-13, and Kirk Cousins is really bad.
I think the Chargers defense is really good though too,
Oh
right?
yeah, I know. I took the Chargers and the Texans parlayed, and I was like, Chargers defense has been solid. Kirk Cousins, not so much. And it turned
Yeah,
out that way.
definitely turned out that way. But again, kudos to the Chargers. I think they just keep winning all these sloppy games and reminds me just of again, good defense wins championships. And I'm not going to go out and say that they have an offense that can win them a championship, but they've got a defense that can contend in the playoffs. So again, watch out for the Chargers moving forward, dog.
And Ladd McConkey had 80% of the yardage that Justin Herbert threw for as far as passing.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like that's just a little bit too much buddy ball for me to be able to trust that offense and being able to say, "Oh, that's a playoff caliber offense." Defensively, they are a dog and they just swarm and they make, offensive make turnovers and that's the stuff that you like to see heading into this style of the year, this lump of coal season for some, but not for the Chargers.
Really makes you think, what was Brandon Staley doing with that defense to where it's pretty much the same exact defense, and then you actually have a real coach who's proven in Jim Harbaugh and knows how to run a defense.
That's how it is. Hey,
Mhm.
Harbaugh gonna Harbaugh.
It do how it be. And that'll bring us next to where the Los Angeles Rams beat the New Orleans Saints 21-14, and Taysom Hill carted off after taking a helmet to the knee.
Hate to see that again. Taysom Hill, bless up my brother. I hate the Saints, but man, Taysom Hill, you are an absolute dog. Honestly, I thought that the Rams were going to win this game by at least 2 touchdowns, and maybe that's me just being the Saints hater that I am. But the
They
Rams were,
covered.
yeah, no, and they covered, and that's great. Good for the. I'm talking about adjusting it,
Oh,
and when
sorry.
it comes to Rams, like, man, that's a game that you can really build the foundation of the rest of the season on with how shaky that the NFC West looks, right? So again, I already said it for the Seahawks, but I'll say it for the Rams too. That's a style of team where you could see them getting into the playoffs, whether they win their division or they find themselves in a sneaky wild card scenario. So again, Rams have the offense for it. Defense looks a little shaky sometimes, but today it absolutely swarmed on that injured ridden Saints offense.
And that'll take us to our next game because I want to say this now. The Panthers just scored a touchdown. It's 23-20 with 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Bryce Young passed
Whoa.
to Thielen. And didn't Baker get hurt too? I thought I saw him get hurt.
I didn't see it.
Kyle Trask threw a one pass, and then Baker, because he's a dog, came back, it seems like. But he's thrown 2 picks. Bucky Irving, oh my God. Bryce Young leading this team to victory potentially.
Wow.
Insane. The
I
most fun division in football. I keep saying it, the most fun division in football.
damn it. I literally was about to read the note that Tampa should win by 14 plus. So this looks like come on. Wait, so it's 23-20. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. All right. Well, we'll see how that game ends. But all I know is that Mike Evans had you in a lot of my fantasy lineups this week, and thank you.
Jake, I'm airing you out after a phone call that we had earlier today. After you say put your life savings on
Oh,
Mike
right.
Evans and
Yeah.
the Tampa Buccaneers.
I did. Yeah, no, you can definitely do that. But I did have Tampa Bay -5.5, Mike Evans with her touchdown and for 50 yards. So that doesn't look too hot right now. But again, you win some, you lose some.
Damn, that's such a kick in the nuts. That's not fair. That'll bring us to our next game, and we're Philadelphia Eagles beat the probably with a minute left, 24-12, the Ravens. Ravens get an early punch, 9-0 in the quarter, and then the Eagles storm back and gonna win the game.
Yeah, they're going to win the game, and they're definitely still the czars of the division. It is scary. I imagine that Saquon ate like Saquon does, but again, Baltimore, you kind of needed to have a big win at home like this. But man, if you're the Eagles, you really wanted to win on the road like this, and sometimes it just works out in your favor. But I don't like to see that the Eagles are doing this well against teams this good, this deep into the season, but
Josh, Josh, if you're listening, I am looking so forward to all the Eagles tweets and posts that you're gonna send me, and I'm gonna have to look at with
I'm
just
not looking forward to that.
I'm not either, and he's probably snickering right now at his job. And congrats, even though I hate saying that. Yeah, the Eagles are gonna win, and that'll bring us to the late night games where the let's see. Oh, excuse me. San Francisco 49ers go into Buffalo. Buffalo is favored by 6.5. The over-unders at 44.5. Jake, what do you think?
6.5 line always scares me, but I think that Buffalo in a snowy game wins every time. So give me Buffalo by the numbers.
I like Buffalo, and I do too. And give me, I'm just gonna go the over. Buffalo and the
What's
over.
the number?
44.5.
Oh, I'm taking the under with how snowy it is.
I don't know. Is it snowing there? Is that the forecast?
Yeah, it's a snowball right now, bro.
Mostly cloudy with a high of 35, 61% chance
They
of
were
precipitation.
they were covered in snow a couple hours ago, so I'm taking Buffalo
Uh-huh.
by the numbers and the under.
Well, maybe the heated field plays helps a little bit. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the over, so we're split on that. But give
Okay.
us Buffalo, and that'll bring us to the next game where the Cleveland Browns go to the Mile High City in Denver. Denver is a 6-point favorite, and the over/unders at 42.
I'm taking Denver by the numbers, and I'm taking the over on this one. I feel like again, maybe it's a little gross. Oh, actually, wait, what's the over?
42.
Yeah, give me just a squeak over that. I'm gonna go 42. It's gonna be a kind of slop them out game, but I wouldn't be shocked if we saw something like a 24-20 game.
Well, this Denver defense has been playing out of their mind. Uh, Patrick Surtain's going to be covering Jerry Jeudy, I think, who would be the leading receiver in that group. So obviously, I'm going to take the Broncos, but 42, I don't know how Jameis does does against this defense. I don't think it's going to be great. Well, he did beat Pittsburgh.
That's what I'm saying.
Man,
So I
this
think
is
it's gonna be a
tough.
yeah, I'm still taking Broncos, but I think that over. I think that the Browns offense is starting to click a little bit more. I think that even though the Browns offense is starting to click a little bit more, even though the Broncos defense is hot, but give me the Broncos.
This is disgusting. Give me the over. I'll tail with you, Jake. Denver in the over.
Let's see it.
Let's see it. And that'll wrap up our NFL segment. And we're going to move on to our current events, what we saw throughout the week, what we want to say, get off our chest. I'll lead us off. For you, Jake, the Los Angeles Dodgers sign Blake Snell to a 5-year, $182 million deal. And the Dodgers are just going to run it back.
I love it. I'm with it.
Great input. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sweet.
no. I mean, listen, I think that Blake Snell, obviously, it was kind of a little bit last a year and a half. It's been weird going from Padres to Giants and now to Dodgers. So I think that fans are definitely punching sand. And again, it'll be a interesting off season leading into hopefully another glorious Dodger season.
So what's the bullpen gonna look like? You have Blake Snell, you have Walker Bueller,
You're getting Dustin May back from
Dustin May back,
injury.
yeah.
Clayton Kershaw's coming back for another round as well. You've got Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Shohei is probably pitching as a next year potentially. So I
Oh
don't
God.
know.
I thought I saw Blake Snell was reunited with somebody on the Ray. Oh, Tyler Glass now.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. Just you like run it back.
Run it back, baby.
Also, Jake, I always wanted this hat. So I'm just gonna say it now.
Let's go.
I hate that I don't like the Dodgers, but I've always wanted a black LA hat. Never wanted a blue one. I like the black one.
All right.
So
Hey,
I
respect.
so yeah, it's a sick hat. I can't deny it's a sick
No,
hat.
it's a
And
sick hat, and I'm wearing a LA Dodger hat too. It's just the other way.
nope, there you go. And then just to touch on this could have fallen into one of our other segments, but Josh Hart, you're a scumbag loser. Um, he said tweeted around the 25th of this month, November. Well, it's December now. No one cares about y'all parlays. And then here you got this dude be like, man, really need so and so to cash in for this parlay, dude. These parlays just I can't win one. Just like, oh yeah, buddy, huh, you phony, you're just like the rest of us. So shut up
Hey,
and dribble and make the basket, Bucko.
hey,
Make our bets hit.
hey, listen. Anybody that has ever dabbled into the parlay world, they know how frustrating these things can be. So, oi, oi, tough luck.
And I'll hand off the torch for you, Jake.
Well, the main current event that I saw this week, Andrew Luck is coming back to become the GM of Stanford football. And man, is it good to see him back
So
when it
cool.
comes to the football side of things. But I just want to run through some of the numbers that Stanford had this last season so we can clip this and that we can use it for next year. Because with Andrew Luck back, I think that you're going to see a meteoric rise, right? So we've got 105th in offensive passing yards per game from the Stanford offense, 94 in rushing yards per game, 102nd in offensive first downs per game. Then when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, they had the sixth most allowed passing yards per game, 47th in allowed rushing yards per game, and 33rd most allowed first downs per game. All of this to say, Andrew Luck is going to field the best offensive line of all time, and they are going to absolutely crush. I cannot wait to see them just absolutely rise the program. And again, the Stanford Cardinal tree, we were an honorable mention when we did our mascot segment, and they're going to be a lot more than an honorable mention moving forward. So shout out to Andrew Luck being back in the college football world. We'd love to see it.
Yeah, no, that's huge. Especially he's probably one of their best players that ever to come out of Stanford. So that's big. That's pretty major. And then obviously David Shaw, former head coach of the Stanford Cardinals. He had some very good years, and then kind of in the latter years, Stanford wasn't as good. Just I guess kind of got lost in the NIL maybe a little bit, so to say. But yeah, huge to have such a legend in Andrew Luck to be part of that Stanford Cardinal program.
You got to climb the college football playoff ladder, so you got to climb the Stanford Cardinal. So keep climbing to the top.
That's right. That's right. And that'll bring us to our next segment. Bench or play. Who are we benching, but who are we playing? I'll lead us off. Playing. I am playing this week. I'm playing so big. And Jake, if you can see your notes, the Commanders have now cut or traded away six of their first round picks from 2019 to 2023.
Wow, that is crazy.
And I could not be happier because those were some of the worst. I don't want to say 2019 because we got Terry McLaurin in that draft, but to say the players that I have in the picture that I'll post up, RIP Dwayne Haskins, but Montez Sweat, pretty good pick we had. Dwayne obviously didn't pan out. Chase Young, really bad player. Dude does not know how to set the edge. Jamin Davis got cut. Jahan Dotson got traded, and Emmanuel Forbes just got cut this week. So really goes to show
Wait,
you how bad
how
Ron
many?
Rivera
Sorry,
was.
how many of these six guys are Ohio State guys? Three, two.
Dwayne's Ohio State, Chase
Chase
Young's
Young,
Ohio State, and that's
Dotson.
it.
Where
Penn
did Dotson?
State.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, yeah. So all right. Hey, listen, kudos to y'all. I mean, obviously, you guys have been showing up. You guys had a huge win this week. So
I
again,
forgot about that game. Yeah, crap. Let's talk now. Commanders absolutely open up a can of whoop ass on the Titans. Yeah,
I
that was
cannot believe that that's the game that you forgot.
yeah, it's weird because on my thing it has like my favorite games and they're at the top, so they're like past like all the late games. But
Funny.
anyways, yeah, the run game was huge for us. I think if you take away our run game, we're pretty much inept and suck like Dallas did last week. Um, so yeah, very much needed win for us, and we continue on with the easy schedule, I think. Um,
God, I love being a Terry McLaurin fantasy owner, man. It's
Dude,
unreal.
yeah, So good. I'm so happy for him. He deserves it so much. He's going to continue his 1,000-yard years of streak. I think it's going to be 6 year in a row with 1,000 yards. So holla. And then we have our bye week, which finally NFL Y14. I'm benching bye weeks up until week 14. Absolute garbage. I mean, how can you make these players play 13 games in a row? It's just they need a rest. They need a rest. Damn it. But yeah, we rock. Anyways, moving on to my double play. Just for his name alone, from the Kansas City Roos College, Gob Gob, basketball player.
I
Just
do know that name. That is so funny. Hey, I'm not familiar with Gob Gob's game, but I will be dialing in for some Kansas City Ruse games in the future. Let me tell you.
absolute sick name. I mean, if imagine if he was a little bit taller, played instead of guard, he played like center, like gobbling up them boys.
Right. Oh my God.
It's so corny. But that was my double play for the week and bench week 14 buys. Jake.
Hey, I love it. Well, my play of this week is going to be James Franklin after the Penn State blowout win. And listen, there's been some kind of ups and downs about this Penn State team. James Franklin kind of gets dragged through the mud, I think, a little bit too much. But fans were upset when Penn State scored a touchdown with 4 seconds left to then put up their lead by or when they're already up 31 points. And I will tell you that the quote that I got from that press conference, because it was basically like, why are you doing this? Like, you've already won the game. You don't need to rub it in. Like, well, one, rivalry week. Like, and two, this is the quote. When he's putting in these third and fourth string guys, they deserve to play true football. Your ones are in the game. You just tried to score the drive prior. We're going to try to score. We're going to give these guys a shot. And in the new landscape of college football, I mean, we've got to be able to show that we've got a number of points, a number of wins, big wins at home, on the road. We're going to try to win the game at as much points by every time. And damn it, that got me going. But that's what every football fan deserves to see. And every over gamblers tonight, cough, cough, Drew, cough, 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 cough. But again, I know somebody here loves a good over, but that got me fired up after that. So I don't know. Did you see that clip, Drew?
No, I did not. Of James Franklin.
Yeah, I mean, he just was getting animated, and it seemed like people have been poking the bear about him on this for a little while, where it's like, well, why would you run up the score? It's like, how do you not understand what I understand in the sense that you have to do this now in the new landscape of college football?
Can we get rid of this unwritten rule of running up the score? If you don't want to them to score, stop them. Okay? Sorry about your feelings, but too bad. Okay? This is football. We're not here to spare any feelings. If you want to stop the team from scoring points, stop them. But you can't. So they did. It's a game. What do you expect from it?
And frankly, the difference between losing by 38 and 45 when you're a competitor doesn't, the difference is minimal at that point, you know? So again, I think that for these teams that are able to put in their backups and let them run and let them play meaningful football. Don't let them just do halfback dives and make them do plays that they're running in practice for the 500th time. And now this is the one time their family gets to see them ball out. No, let them have that fourth down play where there's 12 seconds left, throwing it into triple coverage, which was not a great pass, but then still got caught. And that ends up being a touchdown that guy, that
Should have stopped
family,
it.
everyone's going to remember forever. You should have stopped them. Exactly. That's why that's my play this week, Drew. But my bench this week is for an absolute abysmal performance from the Washington Wizards. We don't talk a lot of NBA on the podcast, but I almost wanted to make them the lump of coal, but because they were so bad during the month of November, I wanted to make them my kind of overall turkey, but they just kind of deserve to be on the bench. 0-14 in 14 games in November. You actually can't make that up. Their only two wins of the year have been against Atlanta. And I do mean that by only Atlanta. Drew, you can put up the graphic here. Again, they have only had Atlanta win at home early in the season and then immediately back to the back. They got another win against Atlanta, but 14 straight games where in those 14 games, they have allowed 122 points and they have only scored 105 points on average. So the Washington Wizards, nothing was good to begin with, but that is a benchable offense by every mean.
I don't get it. I just don't get how this team year after year after year, ever since the John Wall playoffs in 2017 against the Celtics, it just nothing. It's been almost a decade and they just haven't had any success. Hand up, I used to be a Wizards fan. I just kind of gave up. I also don't watch the NBA as much and I just root for the Heat now.
I get it.
But Jordan Poole, I mean, he can score offense, but he can't score defense. And then they got that French guy out, Alex Sarr, new
Mhm.
center or power forward center. Um,
And
I,
Kulabi too. So I mean they have a young bunch and I mean we'll see how that team continues to stack up. But I will tell you, I'm officially starting something as of today where for the first games of December, I will be rolling over winnings over Wizards losses. So their next 6 games, I did a little bit of homework. They
yeah, they're
look
gonna
like
start
they're
winning now.
well, no, of course they are. But again, I think that over their next 6 games, their schedule is at the Cavaliers, the Mavericks at home, the Nuggets at home, Grizzlies at home, Hornets at home, and at the road on the Bucks. All of those teams are surging right now. All of those teams are better than the Wizards by a wide margin. So I will be taking winnings and rolling over that for the next 6 couple of days or six
Damn.
couple of games. So we'll see how this goes.
Dude, they suck at shooting threes. They're like dead last in threes made and percentage.
Dude,
That's crappy.
they are a very bad team, and I don't know if it's a coaching thing, I don't know if it's a talent thing, I don't know if
It's
it's an
talent.
environment thing, but it's a whole lot of something. But that is just absolute time for the bench. So Washington Wizards, thank you yourselves for avoiding the lump of coal, but join yourselves on the bench.
To add to that, I don't understand how Ten Leonsis, owner of the Wizards, can have such a bad basketball team and such a good hockey team. But we'll move on to our worst or best tweet. I got a really good tweet. And it's just like I don't know how you make it up, but here we go. Mississippi State linebacker John Lewis on Ole Miss earlier this season. Come to the SIP mantra. Oh yeah, come to the SIP, like come to Mississippi, like Ole
Yeah.
Miss. And he was saying it's overrated. This is our state. Everybody knows that. We run the SIP because we run Mississippi. They literally want to be us. And then somebody posted his season stats. He had 7 total tackles. And then on top of that, Lane Kiffin retweeted it.
God, that's bad. That's emotional damage.
I woke up this morning and saw like, about 10 retweets from Lane Kiffin, like crapping on Mississippi State.
Oh, that's so good. That's unreal. 7 tackles on the year. Tough look.
Yeah, so that was I think that's kind of my best tweet if I had to say. And then my next tweet I saw this week is a gift wrap bicycle and then someone saying, "I hope it's a healthy Alexander Ovechkin." Is it out is it
Is-
Alex
do you
healthy?
think it is? I think it might be it. I'm really hoping that it might be it. I don't think it's gonna be it, Drew.
I just thought that was so funny, and I also died inside a little bit. Please come back, my sweet prince.
Oh, that's
Uh,
so good.
and that's all I had for worst or best tweet, Jake.
Okay, well, I have 2 best tweets this week. And the first one comes from Mikey Over. And it's the Dolphins bet tweet. And for anyone that bet the Dolphins, I'm sorry for you, but I'm sorry for anybody that was at a Thanksgiving dinner while the Dolphins game was going on, because this happened to me at my Thanksgiving dinner where somebody was just poking the bear. They're like, huh, I wonder who would be a Dolphins fan. And then my cousin from across the table was like, hey, shut up. Like, saying, again, this tweet comes from Mikey Over where it shows the scene from The Bear, where it just starts an absolute family brawl over the Christmas dinner table. And Miami, tough beat, but man, that is just an absolute golden tweet.
Electric.
And then my other best tweet that I had, the Will Fuller tweet, where again, this is just absolutely unbelievable from Barstool Sports. It's the photo of Grandpa Simpson from The Simpsons talking to Bart and his friends, and it says, on Thanksgiving 2020, he had 6 catches for 171 yards and 2 touchdowns, wrecking fantasy leagues everywhere. And then he was suspended for PEDs, and Will Fuller was never heard from again. It's supposed to be the crazy grandpa story of like, okay, grandpa, sure, we know this happened. But man, I miss Will Fuller, dog. Like the PED piece of it, definitely crazy, but it just reminds me that there's so many good Thanksgiving football games that people just forget about. And damn, this was a good Thanksgiving to remember when it comes to these football games.
Yeah, Will Fuller on the Texans was pretty dang good with Deshaun Watson. And then obviously he went to the Dolphins and it just kind of fizzled out from there.
Yeah, wasn't the same.
Was not indeed. But that'll wrap up worst or best tweet, and we go to our best segment of the show, blind ranking college football sponsorship bowl games. Jake, do you want to lead us off?
Yeah, let me lead us off. And before we get spinning, Drew, I think that there's a ton of different bowl games that I'm excited to see this year. Obviously, we've got some big matchups, but any of these big ones that are some of your favorites, because I know that for me, the Duke's Mayo Bowl is going to be one that I'm looking for on the wheel this time.
Yeah, that thank you for also putting the list of names in the bowl for the bowl games. I would be elated if just for the memes, the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl.
It's so good. It's
Like
so
that's
good.
just it's so good, it's so bad at the same time. It's the irony of it.
Oh,
Um, I like the Wasabi Fenway Bowl, and I also like the
so
Bad
good.
Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl.
Well, yeah, let's not give too many of these away, but these are some absolute saucy names right now, and I'm ready to spin this wheel, Drew. Get me fired up. Get me started.
Okay.
And
We're
sorry, hold on. We're basing our decisions off of like best bowl name, like not like the pedigree of the bowl, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
We want
great,
like
cool.
crazy sponsor names.
Let's
Like the
see it.
crazier the sponsor name, the better. So we are recording. Let's spin this puppy now.
Spin that wheel.
Where will it land? Nobody knows. Jake's first pick will be a good one. The Trans Perfect Music City Bowl.
Oh, that's a good one. Trans Perfect Music City Bowl. Damn, I'm gonna put that at. There's gonna be so much better ones than that. I'm putting that at my four, even though
It's
that's a
like
great one.
it's like a weird one. I don't even know what Trans Perfect is in regards, but
I
they're a
have no
sponsor.
idea either. But hey, Music City, I have to imagine that that's gonna be in what, Memphis?
Yeah, you not maybe no, they play at the Titans Stadium
Oh, so
in
in Nashville.
Nashville.
Okay,
Perfect. All right. And you had it at four, correct?
that's at my four.
All right. Spinning the wheel again.
Let's see it.
Some of these are such memes. There's a really good one if either one of us get.
I
Oh,
know. I'm hoping for a juicy one.
Jake, you will get the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl.
Hey, I love our first responders, but Surf Pro, you're going at my five.
Damn, Serve Pro, not a big Serve Pro guy.
Hey, listen, I just know that there's so many good names that are left. So I had a strategy going into this one. I'm sticking to it. Let's ride.
All right. Spinning the wheel again.
Let's see it.
I
Come on.
really I want a meme one, dude. Give us a really good one. You will be getting the Staff DNA Cure Bowl.
Oh, see, that's a solid one too. Like, oh, these ones are just so greasy, but I'm just gonna keep filling up the back of the lineup here. I'm putting them at my three. I know that we can
Okay.
get I know I can get something nuclear here. So let's go with that.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of like first responders and then like staff, like kind of like hospital kind of
I'm
theme. I don't know.
I'm getting all of the corporate entities. Give me Chick-fil-A, damn it.
It's like Monopoly, but for bowl games.
Right.
Your next bowl will be one that our friend Josh would like, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
Damn. See, okay, that's going to be a hard one not to put at my number one. So give me that as my number one. That is an iconic bowl. And again, famous Idaho potatoes. You can't sleep on them. And Josh, you are welcome. So Idaho potatoes and famous Idaho potato bowl, you are my number one.
And that'll leave us to his last spin for Jake. Where will he land for his number two overall bowl name?
Give me something juicy at two, Drew. Come on. Spin the hell out of it.
The Cricket Celebration Bowl.
That's fine. Lock it in. Cricket celebration, and I will celebrate for that. I think it's a pretty solid list. Maybe move up the Music City one above Staff DNA just for the fun name of it. But other
Yeah.
than that, Cricket Wireless doing doing God's work sometimes. So give me a Cricket
Killer
celebration
Cricket
bowl.
Wireless celebrating in the Celebration Bowl.
Let's celebrate.
All right, my turn.
Let's see it.
I really hope I can't wait for our honorable mentions because there's one I really want to get. All right, spinning the wheel for my pick.
Let's see it. Come on now.
I will be getting. Damn it. All right. The Cricket Celebration Bowl.
Number one.
No, that's a 5.
Oh, come on. No, I get it. I get it. Even though it's my two, but I get it.
Especially since we got it back to back. It's
Right. Yeah, it's
the
got a little
excitement.
less luster to it at that point. You're right.
Next spin. Here we go. Got one, two, three, four open. I will be getting. Oh my God. The Boca Raton Bowl.
Ah, there we go. Mr. Florida.
Damn it. Um, I have like some sentiment towards this pick. I'm gonna put it at 4.
Okay. All right. Hey, I don't blame you.
But Boca Raton, elite in the wintertime.
Hey, living it up. Larry's way.
And that'll bring us to my next pick. One, two, three. I will be getting. Oh, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
Damn, that's a good one.
That's legendary. It's I Tax Slayer, give me it a 2. Tax Slayer,
It's a go.
Gator Bowl. Like Tax Slayer and Gators? What are you, an
Hmm.
accountant?
Yeah.
All right. I have 1 and 3 open. What will I get next?
Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Now, I want to ask you this if this can count, but I just got the Reese's Senior Bowl.
Yeah, fuck it. Sure.
All right. I'm gonna put Reese's at I'm gonna put Reese's at 1.
Ooh,
Favorite
okay. The Senior
candy,
Bowl is iconic.
all the scouts, all the coaches are gonna be there. Elite. Reese's are elite. If you don't think they're elite, you could
Get
stay, but
out.
like I'm not a big fan of your opinion on such candies. And that'll bring us to my last pick. Who's gonna be number 3? Let's see it. Oh, damn it. Oh, this is the Cheez-It Citrix ball.
Oh man.
Damn
Back
it.
fumble.
Damn it.
Damn.
Oh.
Was that the one that you were looking for, Drew?
No, I was actually looking for the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl presented by Gin and Juice by Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg.
Isn't that the absolute best bowl game title you've ever seen?
I really wish I got it.
I know. I was hoping for that one. Obviously, the Pop Tart Bowl is now iconic after last year, so I think that would have been great. Not the Kellogg's, not the Frosted Flakes, but the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl is
Yes.
awesome. I love the fact that they give Tony the moment in the spotlight there. But man, Go Bowling Military Bowl. There's just names that just roll off the tongue and they just sound right. So again, kudos to these marketing geniuses that get it done.
Where does Go Bowling get all this money from? Like they sponsor quite a bit a few things. Like I've seen they sponsor a
Bowling.
NASCAR race. They sponsor a bowl game now.
Hey, when you want to go bowling, go bowling.com.
I really wish this is I mean, obviously we're not going off of like legendary bowls, but the AutoZone Liberty Bowl I would have had pretty high up there.
Yep. I definitely would have had the Allstate Sugar Bowl. That one just rolls off the tongue too.
Yeah, but yeah, not could have been better. Could have been worse. And that'll wrap up the top 5. You want to do another one?
Yeah, what should we do?
What did you have?
Remember mine was gonna be the oh shit, what was it?
Or do you think the pod's long enough?
I mean, yeah, we'll probably I mean, listen, I'll leave it up to you. I'm open to doing another one. I just
Yeah,
don't know what exactly we would do.
yeah, let's just bank it. That's fine.
Yeah, okay.
All right. That'll wrap up the top 5. That'll wrap up the show. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Hopefully you enjoy all the bowl games coming up. Have a good December, Christmas time. Don't be a lump of coal because I will put you on the list of this show. You better watch out.
Hey, listen, send us in your lumps of coal, though. We want to see what you guys are thinking week over week. And again, Bell Cow, we appreciate your submissions for it. Let's see some new names in there. Obviously, we're towards the end of the season, but bowl game season is when we see some big performances. So we appreciate you guys listening and excited to see what bowl game and Christmas season brings.
And that'll do it for another episode of Bros of the Bleachers podcast.
Later, bros.